and Tangela too, and our host, Vincent Van Dahl. And he brings it to ya! Creature features, and all creatures, and all creatures. And the creature gonna get you tonight. You better not turn out your bedroom light. He'll grab your head and give it such a bite. You may even die, just from a fright. You ain't nothing gonna be, baby. You ain't nothing gonna be alright. 'Cause the creature gonna get you, baby. Gonna get you tonight.
What were the absolute most significant events which occurred in 1962, you ask? Well, let me tell you that in the year of our Lord, 1962, Spider-Man made his first comic debut. The Space Needle in Seattle was completed. Walmart opened its first store in Ark, Kansas. The first Nike running shoe was developed. And finally, Hawaiian-style pizza was discovered by research scientists at Pizza Hut Incorporated.
Far more significant events than that occurred in 1962.
He would know because he was old back then as well. Yes, my elderly and beleaguered valet, Mr. Livingston, an event more significant than those others had in fact occurred in 1962. The movie Hands of a Stranger was released, and that is the film we shall present to our lovely viewers tonight. Welcome to Creature Features. I'm your host, Vincent. You've already met Livingston, but it is possible you have not yet met the lovely bijou of Polter Mansion, the dangerously venturesome Miss Tangela. And have we a splendidly, spectacularly extravagant show full of pageantry, elegance, refinement, and sophistication for you tonight. First off, as previously alluded, we shall screen Hands of a Stranger from 1962. We've shown this film once before, but it was so long ago that I recall almost nothing about this movie, so I won't bore you with unnecessary and irretrievable details. Needless to say, it involves hands and strangers, and we'll leave the rest to your imagination until you take in the film. Joining us for the stellar presentation of monochromatic silver screen offerings will be our old friend Derek Zemrak. You might remember Derek from when we had him on a few years ago prior. He shared with us his movie Bikini Planet, for which we awarded him a trophy inscripted with Worst Movie Ever Shown on Creature Features. He also helms the Orinda Theater and happens to have an impressive collection of Hollywood memorabilia. He'll tell us about some fun events coming soon to the theater, show us an item or two from his collection, and explain to me in great detail why we're running this old black and white movie once again. You know, Livingston, this is the first time in quite some time that we've shown a film without any color.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
I thought not. So don't go away, for it is to be another night of stranger danger fright, right here on Creature Features. I think you're mistaken, love, for I know for a fact that Cuba never had the necessary nuclear missile technology to even create a crisis. Stay tuned.
Portions of this program are brought to you by Micromat, making products that keep your Macintosh running at its best.
This brief moment of tranquility has been brought to you by Nightscape. Relax and sleep better every single night with this and other videos from our free YouTube channel. Learn more by visiting nightscape.co today.
Welcome to Creature Features. It's a Saturday night, and for somebody who operates a theater, That's the best night in the world, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you don't make money on a Saturday night,
You don't make money.
you don't.
That's the way it is.
Saturday night is the most important day of the week for the movie people.
That's right.
Right. I wonder why.
Usually you do double the amount that you do on a Friday. So if you have a good Friday, you know you're having a great Saturday.
Wow,
So-
wow, that's amazing. We are with Derek Zemrak. He is owner, operator, and chief bottle washer of the
Yes.
Orinda Theater in California. And Orinda, for people who don't know, is close to what?
Berkeley, Oakland.
Berkeley.
Yeah.
So they have university scientists going to his film house
Yeah.
to watch movies.
Smart people.
That's
Smart
right.
people.
That's right. But he's also a collector.
That's right.
You collect things, and he's a filmmaker. We showed one of his films. We won't talk about that. No,
We'll skip that episode.
We get lots of mail on your film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, people love your film.
Yeah, you know, hey.
They say he should make version 2.
Yeah. Return to Bikini Planet?
Return to Bikini. Are you going to do it?
Maybe. Someday.
All right, no. I think he's lying. I think he is the father of lies, and he will never make that film again. He'll do something different. No, but you've got a talent. I think you're wasting it showing movies. You should be making movies. You should be doing both.
Yeah, I can do
Right?
both. I can do
Make a
both.
movie and then show it.
Yeah.
So speaking of showing, you brought all kinds of stuff. I could see over there this big pile of things
All
you
kinds
brought
of
to
nice
show us.
trinkets that you can look at and see. And
We're going to watch Hands of a Stranger. Have you seen this
I
one?
have seen that.
You have this one, 1962.
Well, we bought a hand from a stranger and see if you can guess who it's from.
Oh, that's
Brought
nice.
2 hands.
He brought 2 hands from a stranger. We're going to have a contest. And then 1962. You weren't around in 1962, were you?
No.
No. Neither was I. So, but this movie was. And so we're going to watch this movie, and we're going to see some of Derek's stuff. And we got some big events coming up
That's
at your
right,
place.
a lot of
So
big
we're
events
going to
in
talk
Orinda.
about those too. So don't go away. Movie's going to start right now. Stick around. It's going to be fun.
massaging. It's been too long, Gil. More adrenaline. Cardiac needle. Go ahead, Gil, if you need the practice. It can't always work, Gil. There's got to be death for everyone sometime. Why?
I've been watching you for over 3 hours. That's a long time to take when you die.
It took 9 months on the other end.
As one dedicated man to another, there are a few questions I want to ask you. That's right, local office of bullets and bodies. What can you tell me?
Only that a few ounces of lead just destroyed 3,000 years of medical research.
Please, Doctor, I saw your little outburst of perfectionism in there, and I'm sure you have several million words on the ideals and objectives of medical science, but all I'd like to know is what happened so I can start an accurate report.
The body will be in the morgue tomorrow. Why bother me?
I find it valuable to get as many details as possible before minds have become colored by the calmness and the simplest born of time. It's the kind of attitude that's raised me to lieutenant, made my wife and children very proud of me.
There's nothing I can contribute to your next promotion.
Oh, come now, Doctor. As assistant chief of surgery in a hospital of this size, a man of your age, you must have more than average ability and powers of observation. There were 3 .38 caliber bullets, weren't there?
Yes.
What was the specific cause of death?
3 bullets.
Yes, I see. I shouldn't have put it that way in your present state of mind.
Acute hemorrhage complicated by lung and spinal damage. The bullet shattered ribs, entering from the back, penetrating the lung, and exiting just to the right of the sternum, all right?
Indicating a tight little pattern of rapid fire at a slight upward angle. Our murderer could have been a short man standing or any kind of man sitting. Would it be your habit to sit on the curb at 8 or 8:30 on a night this cold?
Hardly.
The fresh tire marks we found do associate then.
I see you pinning on captain's bars already.
Anything else?
No. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Yes?
Unusual, considering the extent of damage. But while we were getting ready for surgery, Ken told me they almost had to pry his hands from the lamppost. While I was operating, I noticed them too. Powerful hands, yet sensitive at the same time. They never relaxed, even while he was still alive and unconscious.
Now, that's the type of thing I might never have realized. Could tell us a great deal about him. Hands. Amazing things when you think about it. A genius device of flesh and bone that can paint a beautiful picture, control a scalpel, press a trigger. And perhaps the delicately lined pictures on the tips of those hands themselves may tell me all I want to know.
wonderful.
Little sister approves?
Congratulations.
I wasn't sure. During that last encore, 15 years of work, practice, and hope came into complete focus. I know that tonight's the beginning. There's nothing can't be done now.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call you an amateur during these last 6 years. But any minute now, the thundering herd is coming through that door to lift you on their shoulders. I still have to get some details straight with you about the New York concert and recordings before I make that 12:30 play.
Just a few minutes, George, to let my ego feed off the crowd. Dean, I want you to go ahead to the party with the others. I'll join you as soon as George and I are through.
Lucky piano. Lucky me. I'm jealous of you both, you know. I want to be so much to this magnificent man.
Wouldn't that be a little like playing the same composition over and over? Beautiful, perhaps, but monotonous?
You're not only brilliant, you're obscene. I'll forgive you only if you promise to keep me very close to you all of this exciting night.
I want you to go ahead to the party with Dean and the others. George and I have business first.
Oh, you're hard to love sometimes.
Dina, I know all of this makes you very happy, but when does your life begin?
When do I trade in my brother and his piano on babies and things?
Something like that.
When he doesn't need me anymore, I guess.
I think it's time. He's old enough, successful enough. He certainly always seems to have plenty of women around him.
Implying a scandalous relationship between me and my brother?
Well,
George, you see those soft gray gloves he always wears before and after he plays? Remember the time you kidded him about them? Said they were a great publicity gimmick and you wished you'd thought of them first. I think that's the only time I ever saw him angry at you. He needs those gloves. They protect his hands from the cold, and they help keep his fingers completely flexible when he plays. It may be psychological, but it's a part of his greatness with music. Everything's a part of it. You're his gray gloves of the business world,
and you're his gray gloves against loneliness.
for the time being. A great many women love the dramatic concept of Vernon Paris at a Saturday night concert and the parties that go after. It's amazing how few of them are willing to wait and fight through the hours of practice and insecurity that make each Saturday night possible.
Dina, I don't think he's that dedicated.
Oh, but he is. You should know. He's the most selfish man in the world when it comes to his concept of the creation of beauty. He pours everything into it. It's the source of his greatness and of his loneliness.
Hey, you're the guy on the billboard, aren't you?
What was that?
The poster outside the theater. You're the guy with the piano.
That's right.
Boy, my kid sure loves music.
Really?
Yeah, and practices all the time. He'd really like to meet you.
Well, bring him around next time I'm here. I'll have some passes for him.
You're okay, Mr. Paris. Maybe sometime you could even hear him play.
Maybe. How old is he?
10. Don't think he's a sissy. He's the best shortstop on the school team.
I play the piano, and I don't think I'm a sissy.
You know what I mean.
Yes, I know. 10-year-old boys just don't, usually.
It's something his mother always wanted. She died 4 years ago. And I found this teacher who'd come give lessons at night. It's a good time for it, too. Night. That's when you can start thinking about a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things. His piano and all the practicing make it easier. Even the bad notes. Music and people go together. Like kids and dogs.
And be sure you teach him the creation of beauty is something you can never lose. Once achieved, it's with you all your life.
I think he knows it already. I only hope it makes him amount to something more than his old man. He's got the fight, too.
You tell him most people waste time with meaningless fights. The only real enemies the world has are the enemies of beauty. That's the only thing he'll ever have to fight.
I never thought about it like that. Yeah. Hey, I want you to see a picture of my kid. I've got it right here. Look out!
Welcome back. We are watching Hands of a Stranger with Derek Zemrak, who is, you've got hands and you're a stranger, and you've got strange hands. But in this film, the pianist loses his hands in a taxi cab accident.
Yeah.
And then they're here.
Could these be that?
You know, I think he had more handsome hands than these atrocities. So what's the story with these?
Well, let's see if you can guess what these could be from.
I'm guessing that they would be from Herman Munster from the Munsters.
No, close. Bigger.
Bigger.
Hairier.
Hairier.
Hairy.
Harry Belafonte's hands. He brought Harry Belafonte's hands to the program.
No, Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, you mean the movie with the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, the Yeti? You know, these are rather small for Yeti hands. Look, my hands are almost the same size.
That's what I was saying too. It's like that's not. Yeah, but that's pretty big.
So I don't quite comprehend what's going on. There was a bloke in a costume, was it not?
Yeah, he was in a costume.
Right.
But
so did he not have hands?
He did have hands. These were his hands. They just made them bigger, longer.
The gloves.
The gloves. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So he would place his actual hand.
Yes. Inside.
Well, you never put it. You
like
never.
Right now, they're stuffed. We could pull
right.
them out.
No, you put cotton in there.
Yeah.
But so they would be gloves just to make his hands a bit bigger. All right. Now that makes sense. If you would have said they were gloves, you called them hands.
I called them hands because the
no,
movie's
the gloves.
The movie's about hands. You know, we wanted to tie in the hands.
If the glove does not fit, you must acquit.
Quit, right.
So, anyways, so Harry and the Hendersons. Who was the bloke in the costume?
That I don't know.
It wasn't one of the famous giants, right? It wasn't like Ted Cassidy
or Andre the Giant.
Or Andre the Giant. Who's the other one? Who was? Was it Ted Cassidy who did Igor? Who was Igor? No, he was also the one with the silver teeth in the James Bond film Jaws.
Oh, Richard Kiel.
Richard Kiel.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Richard Kiel.
It was not Richard Kiel.
I'm not sure who it was.
Right. Well, that was a fun film.
So all the people watching can look it up because obviously we don't know.
No. So where's the rest of the costume? Let's try it on.
Well, that's what happens at auctions is that they auction them off in pieces.
And so somebody else.
I ended up with the hands. Okay. Couldn't afford the head, couldn't afford
the
body,
feet.
So ended up with the hands.
There's
somebody has the
feet as well. Oh no, I would find that hideous. No, I have an aversion to feet. If you had presented feet like this, I don't know what I've done. I would have fallen out of my chair if you showed me feet as atrocious as these hands.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. Anyways, what do you think? Should we get back to this film?
I think we should.
All right.
We can remove the hands and
we will remove the hands, and you got something else to show us.
I got lots of things to show you.
Yes.
And I'll keep my hands in view.
No, your hands are fine. Just don't show me your feet. All right, off we go. Hands of a Stranger. Don't go away. It's a fun film, I think.
I don't see any other way. Get him ready.
What are you going to do?
You're not supposed to be in here.
Regulations be damned. What are you going to do?
All right, Mr. Britton. You have a right to know. I'm going to amputate what's left of his hands.
You're mad. This man is Vernon Parrish. You can't cut off his hands.
He no longer has anything left that resembles hands.
You're wrong. You've got to be wrong. I was at the accident. I saw them. They were cut, bleeding, bent, yes, but my God, they were still hands.
You're overlooking a basic fact. His gloves were cut, torn, blood-stained, but still with a semblance of shape. That's what you saw. Gloves.
You know, to do this to a man like that, it'd be better just to drive your scalpel through his heart. Simpler for you, the same result for him. Without his hands, Vernon Parrish will be dead. Tell me, Doctor, what would your reaction be if suddenly you were to find yourself without either one of these? Yes. Now, let's pretend they are your hands. What would you do?
Well,
Yes.
there's only one possibility. The odds against success are almost total.
Almost, as opposed to something that's already definite.
I wonder if we're thinking the same thing. Couldn't be anything else under the circumstances, could it?
You've got to get permission first.
There's no time. Perhaps it was lucky for all of us that you were just behind him at the crash. We're going to try something radical. I don't know if you're going to like it.
It doesn't matter as long as you save his hands.
Nothing will save him. But he'll have hands.
Mechanical hands are of no use to this man. Don't you understand that?
Perfectly. I said hands. Some years ago, people would have called you crazy if you told them that you could take part of one human eye and place it in another. Yet today, a corneal transplant is a standard operation. It gives renewed sight.
Yes, I know, but hands are different.
A different part of the same human body. Surgical scientists in every country all over the world are dedicated to the future truth that human life one day might be extended indefinitely by the replacement of defective or worn-out parts. Right now, such a principle is the only one that will save the musical talent of your friend.
But muscles, nerves, how do you know them?
I've already told you we don't know. Now, do we go ahead or not? You know why I want you here? I'm asking you to stick your neck out.
Maybe.
I've pulled you in on a lot of operations, made you watch and study, deliberately made you accept a crash program of training because you have the mind and heart of a great surgeon. I want you to be ready sooner. You'll have even more time to save lives and make others better.
I'm grateful, Gil.
Don't be grateful, be good. Pay closer attention tonight than ever. You have 5 years on both Russ and me. In your lifetime, this type of an impossible in surgery may become a reality. Later, you'll be making the contributions. Stand opposite me at the table.
Gil,
Yeah?
I don't think you're asking me to stick my neck out.
No?
No. I think you fully expect this to work.
Keep them as close to the surface as possible. I want maximum response in the muscles and nerves. And now,
Why? My God, why? What right have they got to do a thing like that? Not to Vernon, not his hand.
Dina, you've got to understand.
I understand you're trying to make me believe a nightmare.
I can only tell you that surgically everything went as planned.
Surgically, everything went as planned.
Dina Paris, Dr. Harding.
I'm sorry we have to meet under these circumstances.
I'm sorry we have to meet at all.
I know how you must feel about his loss.
You pretend to understand what a pair of hands means to a man like my brother.
I think a surgeon is aware of the importance of the human hand in all its aspects.
Well, perhaps there's one you've overlooked. You think you understand the human hand? I'll teach you more than you ever thought you knew about. You're not a doctor. You're a monster. A selfish, crazy monster. I must be having a nightmare. I know I'll wake up. I've got to.
I've transplanted other hands, yes. Done in order to save his talent, not destroy it. What I cut from the ends of his arms no longer resembled hands.
It's a lie. It's got to be a lie. You needed some kind of a guinea pig for your insane experiments.
Miss Paris, what we did in that operating room just now could end all our careers. If you want vengeance, you can have it very easily because we didn't get your approval. But if you choose that vengeance, you may set off a chain of emotional reaction in your brother that'll guarantee failure. Guarantee that he'll never have hands.
You cannot turn my brother into some kind of a freak two-headed dog just for the sake of science.
There's something you have to see.
You can't do that.
I don't think she'll understand any other way. Please.
I saw them before the operation.
The genius that flowed through these hands is no more. But his basic genius remains. With a great deal of luck, we'll have made it possible for him to continue. You must have faith.
Is it faith, Doctor? Or just ego as far as your particular talent is concerned?
Tonight, 4 people did everything in their power to help your brother. I appreciate your feeling of personal tragedy, but I think you've wallowed in it long enough at my expense.
Listen, Doctor, I realize you've been through a great deal tonight, but I don't think you...
Well, I do think. From now on, the only thing that's important is the absolute cooperation of everyone involved in this man's life. Cooperation that'll create the proper recovery state of mind for him.
Your attitude is a very crude one, Doctor.
Maybe we ought to wait.
No, George. This man who's taken such sudden control of Vernon's life, I want to know what he expects to do. And I want to know whose hands he put on my brother's arms. Can you answer that?
No, I can't. There's no precedent for what we've done. No published catalog of spare parts to choose from at the local deep freeze.
And you know nothing about the other man at all.
Coincidence placed him on that table 2 hours before your brother's accident. He had powerful hands, that's all we have to know.
That's all.
If you're concerned with the possibility that he might have been some kind of madman, let me assure you that psychotic tendencies don't transfer themselves mystically to the physical extremities after death.
You know that for a fact?
No, I don't. I don't even know about Mother Goose or the wee people in the Glen. You're right. I guess I was cracking under it.
A personal loss for us. A terrible responsibility for you. We will be back in the morning.
The man has been fingerprinted. A complete check will be run, I assure you.
When can we see him?
Not for a week. He's under heavy sedation and additional radiation treatments. It's a critical period for his body's acceptance of the hands.
Can't we even see him?
Trust me. If you can. And when you do see him, it's vital that he believe he's only had simple emergency surgery. I've got to have at least 6 weeks before the final bandages come off.
How long until we really know?
It won't be long before his body gives us the answer. What we do as far as his mind is concerned, well, he'll need all of us for that.
This is Livingston, and you're watching Creature Features. Not now. Stay tuned. This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
No, I just don't care anymore. It looks like I'm a madman. No, I'm not even going to try to fix it.
That's somewhat appropriate.
You're the madman.
It's an appropriate look for a madman.
Yours is appropriate look for a supervillain. Does he look like a supervillain? Mr. Livingston rules the world. I can see it happening. He obtains nuclear weapons and threatens world leaders with annihilation.
Never.
It could happen. You never know. Welcome back to the show. Derek stepped away for a moment. I think he's going to grab some kind of thing from his collection.
Uh-huh.
And I hope he does not have to drive all the way back to Orinda, California, to get it. Maybe he's got items in his car, right?
That would be wise.
That would be the best way to do it. Anyways, this is a good time for us to do some mail because we have mail.
We do.
And if we don't do it, it just sits and collects dust and mold and mildew, right?
No.
Yes.
It's a very clean house.
Give me some mail, Mr. Livingston.
It's from someone named Ryan.
Ryan?
Ryan.
Says first name or last name?
It just says Ryan.
Ryan? Well, maybe it's. I bet it's the first name. How you doing, old bloke?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Well, this is good. And what do we got here? Oh, look at this. This is nice. So he handwrote, or she handwrote a note, and somebody typed it up for me because they knew I would not be able to read it. So
exactly.
if the letter looks odd to you, that's why. All right. Dear wink on, blink on, and nod.
Winkin', blinkin', and nod.
Who's that?
They are bedtime characters for
I
children.
never knew that. All right. I watch your show every Saturday. I'm hoping to see a movie I have not seen before. 2 a.m. still watching. You were talking about Clint Eastwood being the mayor of Carmel. You know the reason he ran for mayor? He found out it was against the law to eat ice cream on the streets. That's true.
I've never heard
No, I would have been a lawbreaker if that was the case. So Clint said no way and ran for mayor and changed the law. I was down in Carmel when he ran for mayor. In fact, I ate at his restaurant. It was called the Hog's Breath. That sounds tasty.
Inviting.
A very laid-back place with bare wooden tables, and the food was so-so. Rather austere for a celebrity. But the outside was lovely with plants, flowers, chairs, and a working fireplace. In fact, Clint was wandering around and chatting with people. Oh, I'm sorry I missed that. That'd be nice to eat a hamburger and talk to Clint Eastwood about hamburgers and spaghetti westerns. I wonder if he has spaghetti and he offers a spaghetti western or a western spaghetti.
Very funny.
That would be good. That would be good. I don't know if the restaurant is still there or if he still owns it, but if you go to Carmel, bypass the boutiques and go down to the shores or beach and watch the waves roll in from the Pacific Ocean. Rather beautiful. You go down there all the time. Have you ever seen the restaurant? Is it nice? Did you eat inside? Yeah, she doesn't eat meat, so I don't know what she'd eat there, but maybe potatoes, French fries. She's French fries. She eats a pile of French fries this big in one sitting with mustard.
With
of all
mustard,
things.
indeed.
Mustard.
Yellow mustard.
Yellow mustard. Like not even the fancy kind, like Grey Poupon. You know, if I did that, I would at least use Grey Poupon mustard. Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
I do not.
He doesn't even know that commercial. If you get a chance to show the Tarantula movie from the 1950s, you will see that at the very end of the movie, a pilot gets into a plane to drop a bomb or something on the tarantulas. It's Clint Eastwood. I guess it was his debut in the movies. I guess he did all right for himself. I suppose he did. He continues. Keep showing your movies and I will keep watching. Ryan, P.S. When I find something from his campaign for mayor, I will mail it to you for your wall of fame. And we will put it up there in a place of honor, sir. Thank you for writing, Ryan. And did he tell us where he's from?
He did not.
Oakland, California. It says on the post. You know, you can look on the stamp.
Postmark there.
The postmark.
That doesn't mean it's from there. This is from San Francisco, California.
Because the person wrote that for you.
They did.
DeGenera. We've heard from DeGenera.
DeGenera?
This is an old-timey person. Thank you, they write on the card. It's a Hallmark card. Oh, I wonder what they paid for it. I don't know. It's a Hallmark card, though. Oh, my goodness. American money. We love American money. It's more spendable than British pounds. That Must be for something important. Let's find out. To Vincent Livingston, just a card to say thank you for keeping the entertaining Saturday nights. Hope this will help. Not much, but can't compete against that $400 check you received. That was interesting. It bought him a toaster. Against that $400 check you received, the 26th last month. Keep up the good work, David, San Francisco. Help Tangela with what I sent her. Did Tangela, she get something? Is this for her?
I do not know.
This from Dave Genera? No. What? This? Oh my goodness, another one. I see. Oh, to Tangela on Saturday is the first time I ever heard you make a sound. Screaming. I'm sending you this to make good use of it. No candy or stuff. Animals, okay. Always your fan from San Francisco. David, stay as cute as ever. Dave Genera. Well, he's giving this to you because you made a sound, so you should make another sound for him tonight. No, you got to make a sound for him. You've heard her do this before, right?
I have.
I hear it all the time. I thought it was a wild beast. Thank you, David. And,
It is a wild beast.
he probably watches us on Coffee TV 20. You know, this is our last episode on Coffee.
Yes.
The last episode on Coffee. So if you watch us on Coffee TV 20, you're going to have to find another way to watch us. And an easy way to do that is go to creaturefeatures.tv/watch, right?
Yes.
Or watch Creature Features. One of the two.
Creaturefeatures.tv and everything else is on there.
See? He knows. Because he's the webmaster. He's also the tub master. He spends a lot of time in the tub. You do? She told me this. She knows. All right, what's in the box?
Take a gander.
A gift. What do we got? A gift from... Oh, my goodness. I know who this is from. I know it all. This is from our friend... Prankster, who I know his actual name, but I will not use it since he did not write it. But Prankster in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And you can start opening this when it's appropriate. Dear Vincent and Much Love Company, hello all Creature Features host and crew. I want to say a special thank you for making Saturday nights so much fun. My family and I look forward to every Saturday, even when we can't be in the same household. We love participating in the live chat and text each other during the broadcast about the movie and participation of all involved in this amazing program. So they're not even in the same room, and they're texting each other like a chat. Isn't that interesting? No, I didn't know you can use these new mobile telephones for something so fun.
I'll explain it to you later.
No, I understand the concept. I just did not know at the time.
Ah.
He thinks I'm stupid sometimes. I have a technical background. I used to fix my own guitar amplifiers.
Technically speaking.
No, I used to fix my own guitar amplifiers.
That's why they made those weird noises.
I know how to operate a soldering iron and solder. All right, let's see. We are huge fans of Vincent Livingston and Tangela, and also poor Handy Andy. That's a shout out to Andrew. Enclosed our 3 original masks for the 3 of you. All right, let's pull these up. An English St. George cross for the stylish Vincent. Yes, that would be the one. I thought you would enjoy a reminder of your roots prior to becoming our favorite horror host. An American skull-shaped mask for our favorite silent co-host and lover of all things dead, Tangela. Is that the one? Yes, it is.
Yes.
That's
American
nice.
themed.
No, it looks like an American Gladiator. I like that program. Have you ever watched American Gladiator?
I have not.
You should watch it sometime.
Why?
You should join. You should compete in American Gladiator.
Oh, dear.
Oh, they could use a good man like you. All right, and let's see. A German flag mask for our favorite patient and classy co-host, Mr. Livingston. That is a German flag, right?
Yes.
Do you suppose Angela Merkel would wear this?
I think she has.
Next time she goes to the UN.
Well, she's no longer Chancellor.
No. Well, that's
She's
too bad. I
retired.
liked her. No, I think I had tea with her once. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a friend. I'm an active artist. Those who are interested can find my work at Prankster Art and Custom on Instagram. Prankster Art and Custom. Yes, it is Prankster with a Z. Hope you enjoyed the masks. They were made with each of you in mind. I'm also designing a Handy Andy mask. I just have to figure out how to incorporate his long-suffering experience into an original piece. Stay tuned. You know, if you're going to do a hand-drew mask, it should be bulletproof. It should be made out of metal, and it should be like an entire head, so that... And she's always hitting him with frying pans.
It should have bandages on it.
Bandages? No, that would be nice, too, but that's not going to protect him. All right, is that it?
That's it.
That is it for mail. If you'd like to send us some email, send it to the address you see over here. Or if you'd like to send a wonderful box full of masks, send it to this address you see right here. We'll be right back soon with Derek, but first let's get back to Hands of a Stranger.
You know, Doctor, I'm one of those people who believes that our department renders a definite service to the safety and welfare of the community, just as you do. Now, I'm sure you observe certain regulations that make your work more orderly, more effective. Am I at all correct?
Generally.
Well, now, so do we. For instance, when we have a homicide to contend with and we receive a body at the morgue, we feel it's reasonable to expect that we'll receive all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me why, but I hold a feeling of kinship and respect for a man like you. On the other hand, I suspect you of some premeditated diddling on the hillside. Mind you, I've said nothing about this at the department because I'm sure you have a totally worthy explanation. So, exactly what have you done with those hands? It's nice to know you're sympathetic to my needs, but you know this isn't enough.
What if I told you it had to be enough? For now.
Doctor, when I was in college, one of my best friends was a medical student, so one night he stole into the laboratory and removed part of a cadaver, which he then utilized to produce a therapeutic effect on a timorous young lady at a beer party. Surely you've progressed beyond this.
Inspector, let's pretend it's the past. Say 2 months prior to the time this technique of identification was established. Suppose you came to me and you said that you were on the verge of a discovery that would greatly advance your profession and mankind as a result. Yet for definite reasons, you needed those last 2 months in order to prove it. Do you expect me to block you or to interfere?
Very good analogy. I'm sorry you thought of it.
Well?
It's fortunate for you that I seem to sense a certain quality of honesty and greatness. Otherwise, I'd pull you in right now.
Will you go along with me for that long? With the promise you'll be given the complete story the second it's possible? You have enough on this chart for a full preliminary check.
You know, you're complicating things for me at the department. I suppose I can create an acceptable story. I suppose I'm as idealistic as you in many ways. I'm sure my wife and children would support me in that up to a point. For everyone's sake. Let's hope we don't pass that point.
This will be his first moment of true consciousness. Please let me handle explanations. Guard your reactions against any indication of seriousness. Mr. Paris, you have visitors. Mr. Paris?
My hands.
You're going to be perfectly all right.
What's happened to my hands?
There was a traffic accident. Some of your fingers were broken. You're going to be all right.
The cab. That fool driver. Why are my hands like this?
We knew who you were, what your hands meant to you. We've immobilized them so the fingers will mend perfectly.
I have to be in New York. A concert. Recordings.
I've postponed them until you're well again.
You will play again, Vernon. You will.
Dina, don't lie to me.
I'm not lying, darling. Dr. Harding did a beautiful job. Your hands will be perfect.
Doctor. Harding. Perfect, Dr. Harding. In your terms or in mine?
In yours. In just a few weeks, you'll have full flexibility again, full timing.
Why did it have to happen to my hands?
You're lucky it was only this. Glass was shattered from every window of the cab. You can see to play. And you will play. All you need is that belief and some patience.
Not very aesthetic, is it, George? Might make an unusual shot for our next poster.
You're going to be all right, Vernon.
Does Eileen know about this?
I don't know.
Thank you. But she was at the party. Isn't that where they notified you?
Yes.
Well, it's all right. My little dramatic butterfly wouldn't like it here very much. No bright lights, mink stoles. You don't serve martinis, do you, Doctor?
Not for the time being.
Well, I guess you'll be around again when things aren't so stark and sterile.
It'll be a month before we can remove the bandages. You can go home in a week. I think you'll be more comfortable there.
Home. Where I can stare at the piano. Wonder how long it's going to be. And how good it'll ever be again.
So you can stare at it. Remind yourself to be patient. To fight for something that's important and beautiful.
Look at that. Perfect fusion on both.
You're gonna kill him?
Not yet. All we know is that his body's accepted the hands. We don't know how they're going to function.
But nobody's even gotten this far before. You realize what that means?
It only means we've taken a step, Ken. That's not enough.
Not enough. Gil, even if the rest fails, if the nerve and muscle connections don't work...
It must work.
But you can't hope for too much.
Why not? It's the only way we have the courage to take the next step. And the next.
Well, when will we know?
That's why I've called you in here. I've waited longer than I planned, to be sure. Now, I'm going over to remove the bandages and make the first reflex test. I want you all there because you helped make it possible. Also, I think you'll need all the moral support we can give him. This may not be pleasant, so if any of you don't want to come, say so. Russ? Kenny? Holly?
Did I ever tell you I couldn't stand the sight of blood?
Let's see if our dream is a realistic one. If it's possible to recreate beauty out of chaos.
Dina, push the lamp back a little. We don't need that much. I hope you don't mind an audience. But Russ, Ken, and Holly all helped the night of the accident.
I'm used to audiences. Glad to have one again after so long. These weeks of waiting haven't been easy, but if it ends well, I'll be grateful to all of you.
Are you ready?
After 7 weeks, yes, I'm ready.
You must do one thing for me. I ask you not to question it. I want you to close your eyes and keep them closed till I tell you. That shouldn't be so hard. Only a few more minutes after 7 weeks.
Apparently, dramatics aren't limited to the stage.
hands flat on the table. Now, I'm going to touch the fingers of your hand. Each time when you feel the touch, I want you to move that finger.
Portions of Creature Features are brought to you by the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. Explore the mystery at winchestermysteryhouse.com.
So he received the hands of a murderer or a murderee. I'm confused. What in God's name is on your head?
I think I'm confused too.
It's Lost in Space.
Lost in Space. This is a 1960s kids play helmet.
I saw
Isn't
this.
it beautiful?
It should have a siren on top, should it not?
I don't remember that far back.
No,
actually.
I remember these, and they had a siren on top.
Okay.
And the children would run around with these. And who are all these signatures?
That's from most of the remaining cast.
June Lockhart. Angela Cartwright.
That's correct.
Who else?
Marta Krista, who was a
Marta
guest.
Kristen, yes, she was here. And the last one is Danger Will Robinson from...
Bill...
That's how he signs his name. Billy Momey, you need to come up, you need to learn some penmanship. What was he doing? You know, they have classrooms on the set of these shows. And, you know, the rest, beautiful script. And then you get to Billy Mooney, and it's like he went to school in an alley someplace.
We probably went in a trailer.
In a trailer park.
On set.
In a trailer park.
So no, June Lockhart has a beautiful
This is
signature.
worth like $1 million now, right?
Well, not $1 million.
No, well, it's rare.
The helmet itself.
It would be worth $1 million if you had the siren on top. Without it, it's worth $75, right?
The helmet itself is rare. I mean, there's not a lot of them around because most kids, you know, broke them or, you know,
last time I
wore
saw
them
one,
on their
it was
head,
on the program.
played football with them.
It was on the program.
But yeah, with all the signatures of the living cast, it's pretty cool. But yeah, Angela Cartwright is a great signature. June
and
Lockhart.
all these people have been at your theater for events, right?
Everybody except for Bill has been there, actually.
Of course, because he was in a trailer park learning to write. No, Billy Mooney, we tried to get him on the show. He's busy. He's always busy. What in God's name could Billy Mooney be doing? He's certainly not playing Will Robinson on the new Lost in Space, is he? He's not. No, he's not. He's not doing anything. He just doesn't want to come up here. Well, this is amazing.
They're doing a reboot of Babylon 5. He was on Babylon 5 also, so
right.
maybe he will
I was not
get
impressed
asked
with
back.
his performance on Babylon 5. No.
I was actually on Babylon 5 also.
You were on Babylon 5. Yeah. Tell me more.
The very first episode.
Doing?
I was a fighter pilot. And the very
you
first,
were a fighter pilot?
The very first shot of the pilot is actually me and the two other people in the shot. And one time I was at a convention and they were running the loop of the pilot, and I walked by and someone goes, "You look like that person." I just said, "Yeah, kind of."
They literally said that. Oh,
but
my
I mean,
God.
it was a small
No,
little role.
I'm going to watch this tonight.
But it was the pilot, and I should have brought it. I think about it, but
You
I didn't
were
know
the
you were gonna,
pilot in a
I didn't bring
pilot.
it- I didn't know if you were gonna bring this up. But I actually have when we shot the pilot, everybody got a cast jacket, so I actually have a Babylon 5 cast jacket.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Should have brought that.
I think it's worth more than the Lost in Space helmet. No, he was a pilot on a pilot for Babylon 5. No,
Yeah.
I think that should be at the top of your resume. No, all your other successes are menial compared to that. All right, I'm going to signal we got to get back to this film, but when we come back, you're going to show us one more item, right?
So he got his hands back, so that's good.
Hands back. All right, so off we go. Back to Hands of a Stranger in 1962. It gets better, right?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Bye.
Before you open your eyes, I'm going to tell you one thing. I want you to remember it. It's vital that you do.
Are you trying to ease me into acceptance of a failure, Doctor?
What we've done for you surpasses my hopes. But the success of every surgery depends on two things: medical skill and acceptance on the part of the patient.
Are these your usual terms for such a thing as simple as broken fingers? I don't think so.
Keep your eyes closed. The response in your fingers is 80% correct. The rest will return, but it's going to take practice on your part. You were right about one thing. It was more than just broken fingers. But the thing that you've got to believe is that we've been successful, because we have. During these weeks of waiting, you told me about your absolute belief in music and beauty. When you open your eyes, you're going to see something that'll demand a great deal of the sensitivity, courage, and creative thinking you have as an artist. Now, open your eyes. Terribly mangled in the accident. We've made it possible.
What have you done?
We've made it possible for you to have perfectly good hands.
These aren't my hands. What have you done?
We've given you hands where you had none. When you arrived at the hospital, we were faced with a tragedy. We didn't accept that. We fought to restore the beauty that was so important to you, and we did. They're strong, normal hands, and your bodies accepted them. Now you must accept them and fight.
Why?
Why? Because it is.
What have you done with my hands?
What you brought to the hospital were no longer hands. Stand up. Take hold of my arm. Take hold of my arm. Both hands. Grip it as hard as you can. The fact that you can even do that proves the muscles work. Can you feel my arm? That proves the nerves are functioning. Muscles and nerves, that's all you need. These hands are new, but your talent isn't. What happened to you 7 weeks ago was cruel. What I'm doing to you now is cruel. But what we did in that operating room wasn't. Now you can accept or you can quit. It's up to you. Get out.
Vernon, will you
All
please?
of you.
Patience. Exercise. Belief. There's every chance in the world.
Every chance that beauty can once more be created by your surgical freak.
Can.
You're right, Doctor. You were cruel just now. But your bluntness has restored reality for me. I'm just not sure how long it can remain. I suggest you leave now.
Tomorrow we'll talk about that reality.
I'll be back, Vernon. I know, George. Thank you, I'll call.
Let him have his anger and torment for now. I think he'll be strong enough later to accept the fight.
His finger reactions weren't even right.
Yes, they were.
But when you touched them...
I touched the fingers on each hand in sequence at first. Then I deliberately changed the sequence. The finger that reacted was the one he thought should react next. Then I went back and touched the finger, and it moved. It's simply a matter of mental coordination on his part.
Seems so much to expect.
Dina, what we've done has never been done before. It's a triumph for us, but it's got to be one for him, too.
I think I'd better move in here for a while.
He'll need you.
I wonder if there'll ever be a day when he doesn't.
Please leave me alone.
I know how hard it is for you to accept. But do you realize what Gil has done for you?
Yes, he made them come true. All those dreams I've had through the years about something happening to my hands.
Gil's genius has made it possible for your talent to continue.
His genius with a knife in the human body has put on my arms the hands of some man I don't even know.
Is that important if you can play again?
Important? It's important my sanity can even accept that these aren't mine. His genius has given me hands to feel with. But can he guarantee these stolen chunks of flesh and bone will ever be?
These are your hands. Now it's up to you to make them sing in the future as they did in the past. It's you who control your hands.
Don't you understand? I was my hands. They were my life. Now I'm carrying the life of someone I know nothing about.
Then you must learn again. Or you will have no life.
Why me? Why couldn't this have happened to that cab driver who doesn't need his hands so much?
I only know from Gil that the man suffered too. His life may not be as delicate or as complex as yours. But I'm sure he'll fight to maintain it.
Leave me alone.
I'm going to stay here for a while. I'll be back as soon as I get some things from my apartment. Please be patient. Why, you're a half hour. Why, Vernon, what a pleasant surprise.
I want to talk to you.
I can't right now.
It's important.
All right, but I only have a few minutes.
You always did have a talent for creating the proper visual mood.
This is no concern of yours.
Obviously, since our relationship is primarily a social one.
What does that mean?
It must be if you haven't been interested enough to see me during these past weeks.
I called the hospital the following day, left my sympathies.
Very generous of you.
Vernon, I'm very sorry about your accident, but...
Pain isn't a desirable substitute for laughter and excitement, is it?
Vernon, I've had a great many things to do. I'm also expecting a guest within a half hour,
guest?
so... You don't own me, Vernon.
I know. But now I need you.
How interesting. Well, there were times when I needed you. Remember your favorite line? That would be too much like playing a great composition over and over. You had to play many in order to live and grow as an artist.
There's a difference now. I can't explain everything right away, but my life has changed. You've got to understand.
Vernon, if one of your other women has put you in your place, I don't see any reason to come crying to me.
That's not it. Yes, there were others. There were others for you, too. I don't think either of us had any illusions about that. But for me, you were always the most important, the loveliest. In the back of my mind, maybe I always thought someday...
Vernon, neither of us ever thought that someday. You were always a very exciting, very desirable man. But this attitude in you now, this heaviness, I don't like it at all. I'll be very happy to see you on the old basis, but right now I'd wish you'd go.
What if the old basis has been changed by something I can do nothing about?
I don't like you this way, and I don't like riddles.
What if there won't be any concerts or parties? What if there'll only be me?
Stop it, Vernon. I've never seen you this way, and I don't want you this way.
What if there'll only be me?
Stop it! Stop it!
Answer me!
Let me go! Your hands are breaking my arms! Your hands!
Yes, my hands. The hands that brought you concerts, parties, glamour, excitement. That's what happened when you called to leave your sympathies. My hands that you knew so well. Look! They don't look like my hands, do they? They're not. My hands were destroyed the night of my greatest concert. But medical science gave me a new pair of hands, hands from another body, so that I can play again. Yes, Eileen, I may play again, but I may not. What if there'll only be me? What will you do if I need your help now more than I need your beauty?
Don't touch me!
Hi, this is Catherine Brown. I live in New Haven, Connecticut. I love your show. I love your movies. And I would like to know, can you play some of Christopher Lee's Dracula movies? I never see any of them on your show. Thank you very much. Love all of you all three.
Hello, this is Livingston. Apparently, one of my newly acquired domestic duties is to request help for our show financially by asking you to visit our Patreon page. Your generosity will help keep Creature Features on the air, which I'm not entirely sure is a good thing. However, with only a few dollars a month from you, your kindness will allow us to continue creating new programming each week, which apparently some of you curiously enjoy. And should you have the desire to give even more, you might even receive a gift from Ms. Tangella. I think not. Please visit the website below to learn more. Thank you. Portions of Creature Features are brought to you by the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. Explore the mystery at winchestermysteryhouse.com.
Welcome back. We are with Derek Zemrak, who wrote this book. You're an author, filmmaker, author, movie operator, actor, pilot, on a pilot. What else have you done, Nate?
Well, where do you want to start? We only have a few minutes, right?
No, I know. He's an international man of mystery seated next to me here. And he's watching this movie with us tonight, Hands of a Stranger. How's it going?
It's going good, but he's a little bit affected by the new hands.
That will happen to you.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I imagine if you had like even new thumbnails.
You're right, yeah. You know, different feelings.
Just, yeah.
Different hands.
Right. No, feelings. No, a new filling in your teeth. Your mouth feels different.
Yeah.
No, I went to the dentist the other day just having my teeth cleaned, and all of a sudden I'm aware of my mouth. You know, I can imagine the same thing happening with hands. So this book you wrote is called 50 Movies You May Not Have Seen That You Should. And what are some of these movies?
Well, actually, most of the movies came from the film festival, because I started the California Bennett Film Festival
You're a film festival operator as well.
27 years ago, and there was
27 years?
Yeah, I was a baby.
Are you still doing it?
Couple of years off,
right.
most people, but
it's
starting back up.
It's
It's still
thing.
ongoing, yes.
Right,
yes.
right.
And so a lot of times people would ask me, come up and say to me, like, what's your favorite movie of all time? Because I see so many movies from the film festival. We get over 1,000 submissions a year. You know, so he's constantly seeing movies.
Right.
And I'd say, oh, I like this one, I like that one. And they're like, I never heard of that one. And then a friend of mine said, you know, you should really write a book. And I'm like, I don't want to write no book. And then we just started writing back and forth, and then all of a sudden I just came up with 50 movies. Like one, for instance, was Lovely Still, you can see on the cover, which is actually designed by Dave Woodman.
Dave Woodman, we know
Disney.
him. He did the
was
back
on the
as
show,
well.
The back as well.
He did the back as well.
And Lovely Still starred Martin Landau and Ellen Burstyn, written and directed by an 18-year-old.
How did he pull that off?
Well, that's a good question. Absolutely. He had said that he got the script. A friend of his knew Ellen Burstyn, got him the script, and it was about an older couple who have, fall in love later in life.
Right.
And he came up with a story based on watching his grandparents. And it deals with Alzheimer's. It's a heavy subject. Ellen Burstyn read the script. First person she called was Martin Landau and said, you got to read the script. Martin read it, and both of them were the head of the Actors Studio. Right. Martin in LA, Ellen in New York, and they both agreed to do it with an 18-year-old directing them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film. I mean, it's probably on Amazon now and that type of stuff, but it's a heart-wrenching film, and you don't know where it's going until like 3/4 of the movie, and you're just like, wow, never saw that coming.
Now, some of these films I've seen.
Yes.
Parkland.
Yes, Parkland. Yes.
That's a
Now, see, all these movies in here all did less than $30 million at the box office.
Is that your basis? Is how much they made?
That was like the few that did really well. Like Parkland, I think, was like 27 million at the box office. Not very high. But most of them did less than $1 million at the box office.
My goodness.
Some did absolutely zero because they never got a theatrical release.
And so would these be the types of films that would be at your film festival in your theater?
Most of them had played. Some of them had played at the film festival, or I came across them, doing like film critics and that type of stuff.
What's Millions about?
Millions is a British film, and it's about these two boys who all of a sudden they're playing in the field near a train, and somebody throws off a bag in the air, and it has $1 million in it. And it lands in them, and the kids don't know what to do with it. They're trying to hide it from the family, but the person who obviously was after the money is trying to track them down and find out.
Yeah, it always works that way. Anytime somebody finds something in a movie, it's like some terrible person.
Somebody else wants it.
I want to see a film where somebody finds $1 million and they just have a wonderful life.
Yeah.
Right? And then we just get to enjoy the wonderful life with them. All right. This book is published by Bear Manor Media. Where can we find this book?
Oh, Amazon, your bookstores, everywhere?
Amazon, bookstores.
Yeah.
Your doctor's office, coffee table.
It could be, yeah.
Could be there. Dentist's office, maybe.
It's so funny because when I originally wrote it, I started writing, and I just posted on Facebook and said, yeah, working on this book and stuff. And Bear Manor reached out to me and said, can we read some of your, chapters? And I'm like, I don't even know what to do. So I called the person who was helping me do all the editing because I'm the worst speller in the world.
Right.
She says, well, just send us these samples. And I sent them to them, and then all of a sudden they gave me a publishing deal on it. So
Lucky bloke.
yeah, I know.
All right,
Lucky.
that's wonderful. Good. All right, let's get back to this film, and when we come back, we're going to show us another prop, right?
Props and
He's got so
talk
many
about
props,
upcoming events.
Upcoming events, yes, we've got to talk about that. All right, off we go. Hands of a Stranger, 1962. This movie is going sideways, so we're going to see where it ends up. We'll see you soon.
Should take off. You too, Holly. Kenny can handle emergency tonight.
Oh, sure. And when do I get a chance to get married? I have a girl who's pretty fed up already.
Who ever heard of young doctors getting married? You have to be middle-aged before you can afford to be married.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Come on, Junior. I have a new trick I want to show you with a scalpel.
You know, I've got a boyfriend who's the greatest guy in the world. But
Holly, never get interested in a dedicated man. It may look good on the surface, but you can always end up second, no matter how much he feels for you.
thanks, Gil, for putting it the nice way. She's a lucky girl.
Must make me look pretty much like a snoop, but I'm sure you understand it's part of my job.
I also understand we made a bargain.
With a time factor that was up a week ago. You see, I'm not without patience.
The main point was I'd give you the complete story as soon as it was possible. You implied you'd trust my judgment.
Yes, I remember, but there's a problem. I have somewhat of a neurotic respect for perfection in my work. I don't like to see assignments go unsolved. Although I recognize there's no set schedule for the solution. Specifically, the fingerprints you gave me have been thoroughly checked, and they gave me nothing.
You think I gave you a false set?
You're not that kind of a man. We're in the process of checking them through foreign bureaus, but while we're waiting, I thought there might be something new you could offer to keep my mind at peace.
There's nothing I can tell you yet. There's a human factor that's involved that's critical. Trust me a while longer.
Very well.
Thanks.
In the meantime, please remember my wife and children.
When I got back last night, he was sitting at the piano dazed. He didn't say a word all night. I don't think he went to sleep either. And then in the morning came the tragic news of the death of a woman who was very important to him. He was more depressed.
When did he leave?
Late this morning. He said he wanted to be alone. I wanted to go with him, but he was cruel in the way he rejected me. I'm frightened.
Don't be frightened. It's natural in the beginning. He's got to feel sorry for himself. Hate everyone and everything that caused this. He'll be back.
I hope you're right.
In the meantime, I think the separation's good for us. Let's have dinner. We've never done that. I know a little place with violins not far from here. We'll be back early.
Does Tony Wilder live here?
Yes, sir.
Is he in?
No, sir, but he'll be back in a little while. He went to get some. Dog, isn't that great?
I'm an old friend of his, used to ride in his cab all the time. I want to talk to him.
I really shouldn't let you in, but I guess you look okay. You like dogs? Okay, come on in. You ever had a dog? Hey, mister, you ever had a dog?
Yes, a long time ago.
When you were a kid like me, huh? You had a piano once, too? Were you any good? I'm good, too. Want me to play for you? Well, I'm not bad, honest. I like to play. Dad's never asked to make me. You know a lot about the piano? I'll play a real great tune I just learned. It'll make you feel better, because you don't look so hot.
No. Not right now.
Come on. I like to play for people. Helps me not to be nervous. I'll make you a deal. If you don't like it, I'll quit. Okay?
And they were both killed when we were very small. We ended up with relatives who resented the obligation. So more or less, we banded together for emotional survival.
You both had a great desire for life, even then. That's important for him now.
Perhaps. But I think we became too close as a result, too dependent. I had talent too, but his was greater. I used my talent to help him. The whole thing was a calculated plan to bring us independence and freedom. And now, just when we were both reaching a point when we could be truly free.
Dina, nothing's going to be wasted. Don't you see, by going through this, he can become part of a new and even greater kind of beauty. Maybe that's a lot to imagine right now. But eventually there can be no such thing as a permanently defective heart, a permanent cripple, a permanent birth malformation, blindness. Oh, there'll always be accidental deaths. But from these tragedies, science will be able to sustain and recreate joy for the living. And when people know that a worn out or defective part of their body can be replaced, they'll approach life itself with a great deal less fear. 3,000 years of research, Dina. And we're just beginning. This is the next major step, and he's the key part of it.
If it had to happen, I thank God we found you. Gil, whose hands are they?
We don't know yet, but they're strong, normal hands. They might be hands from someone even more talented than Vernon.
But they could be from someone.
Don't let fear drive you into a pit of superstition.
But are we sure the soul really controls the outside? Or is what we call a soul really shaped by our own pleasures or hatreds with the outside, and how they're accepted by the world?
If you love beauty, you conquer handicaps so beauty can live.
And if you don't?
Well, mister, how did you like it?
Yeah? You play very well.
You mean it?
You can be good. Very good if you practice.
Did you practice a lot when you were a kid?
Yes, I practiced a lot when I was like you. But I can't remember many things about being 10 years old. Yes. Yes, I can.
Are you still any good?
I don't know.
Come on and try. I want to hear you play now. First, you got to take your gloves off. Who ever heard of playing the piano with their gloves on?
I can't take them off.
Sure you can. You put them on, didn't you? Strong hands. Maybe someday I'll have hands like that, so I can play a lot easier. Come on. Because you sure can't play now. How can you play the piano if you can't even hit the chords?
Don't say that. I can't play. I will play again. Music is my life. You mustn't say I can't play. I will play.
I've never known anything else. That's why I'll play again. I must play again. You see that, don't you?
Ski. I'm home, Ski. Easy, boy, easy. I know it's strange, but you'll get used to it. Skeet! 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 Skeet, where are you?
Portions of this program are brought to you by Micromat, making products that keep your Macintosh running at its best.
Well, this time I don't think we'll have to be as critical. You can open.
It's working, Vernon. It's all working.
Should I say congratulations again, Doctor? To yourself, for your patience. Every finger response was correct. Timing was a little slow, but with this much progress this soon, there's no reason why full dexterity can't return. All you need now is a strong incentive. That's something you've had for a long time.
Yes, Doctor. I think I'll enlarge on your exercises to include the piano.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's wonderful, Mr. Paris. Ouch.
I want you and Dina to have dinner with me tonight. Go someplace where we can laugh for a change. How about it?
It's time to see again what the outside world and smiling faces look like.
Here's a smiling little doll to take home with you to remind you of your shining hour.
You take that thing home and you're going to be the one that has to dust it.
Test this game of skill. Win yourself a beautiful prize or a tryout with the LA Dodgers. Warm-up pitch, only a warm-up pitch. Even the greatest need that. Try again. Hey, what are you? Some kind of a nut making fun? That'll be $20, buddy.
I'm sorry.
Forget the sorry. I said $20, buddy. And if you don't know how to use your hands, stay away from here. Hey. I'm gonna call a cop.
Okay, wait a minute. Here's more than enough of that. Take care of the damage.
All right. But I'm still gonna call a cop. That guy is some kind of a nut.
Look, here's some more. Please forget it. He's a patient of mine. He's been through quite enough as it is. Give him a break.
Okay. But if you can't handle him, buddy, we got a place right down the street that specializes in freaks.
Vernon, you know how proud I am of you. The new attitude you've had since Gil returned.
Are you?
Very. Remember the night the three of us went out together?
I remember.
It started then, didn't it?
I think it started a long time before that.
Gil's proud of you, too. I told him you've been practicing every day since then. You don't know how important it is to him that he used his skill to bring you a new life.
Yes. They all brought me a new life.
And for me, I think you know how I've come to feel about Gil. I want you to be happy for that, too.
I'm very glad that you've come to mean so much to each other.
Why won't you let me stay on nights that you practice?
You know me at my best. I want you to hear me that way the next time. Besides, you haven't regretted all the time you've been able to spend with him, have you?
All right. I'll wait.
What time will you be back tonight?
11 or 12. Just dinner and a conversation.
Have a good time.
This is Livingston, and you're watching Creature Features. Stay tuned. This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
Witchy Poo, what are you doing on my knee? I don't know. You know, I would have been a good puppeteer. Well, I would have been an adequate one, I think. The Croft Company. Look,
yes.
And this one's from
Sigmund and the Sea Monster.
Sigmund and the Sea Monster. This one is from Puffin' Stuff. And this is Hoodoo from Lidsville. You know, I love these programs.
With Butch Patrick, who was a guest on
Butch
your
Patrick.
show.
No, and then Sid and Marty Krofft did Land of the Lost, and we've had Kathy Coleman on more than once. So, no, we love the Crofts, and they have never heard of us, which is fine. No, it's fine. Look, but they shall sit on my knee as we talk about these puppets. So, these are live action shows. These are not props from the show.
No, they're not. There's marionettes, you know, because Sid Krofft started as a puppeteer.
These types of puppets?
Yes.
With the strings?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. These are wonderful. Who made these?
A gentleman in Canada, actually, and I asked him to make them because we're having an event at the Orinda Theater. Which
having
is
like in the future?
Yes, in May 21st.
May 21st of this year.
Yeah, we're having a TV PopCon, that's our umbrella.
PopCon.
Yeah, and this year we are tributing Sid and Marty Krofft and showing all of their shows all day long and ending with the Puff and Stuff
You have to
movie.
get Kathy Coleman and the whole
They are coming.
Land of the Lost. They're
Kathy's coming. Wesley Ure's coming.
Oh, good.
Butch Patrick is coming.
Oh, Butch Patrick as well.
Yeah.
These are all friends of ours. We love these people.
And then Johnny Whitaker from Sigmund and the Sea Monster.
Johnny Whitaker as well.
And Sharon Bard, who played in all of these shows, but she was always in costume. She was actually one of the original Musketeers.
And this is in May of this year.
May of this year.
And what are you calling it? PopCon?
PopCon, yeah.
PopCon.
Yeah.
I love it. All in your tiny theater.
Well, it's 750 seats. So.
No, it's got a theater. It's the size of a boîte, like a small cafe. No, it's a large theater. It's nice.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with these, and and being able to show these, clips of these TV shows on big screens,
it's going to be
it's
fabulous.
Like amazing. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Sign up and get your tickets soon because this is going to sell out.
Yeah, but all the VIPs are already sold out. So
what's a VIP? What do you get of a VIP?
VIP gets in an hour before to meet with all the celebrities.
Oh, that's true VIP.
Yeah, that's VIP. And then you also you get a gift bag with all kinds of wonderful little.
Oh my goodness! And already sold out. How much were the VIP tickets?
$45.
$45 a soul?
I know. That's what everyone told me.
Oh my goodness! And William Shatner charges $200 just for a bloody autograph.
And it sold out in less than 2.5 days. It was gone, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I
should have
was
sold them
too
for
low."
like $300.
And the amazing thing is we got people flying from all over the country because there hasn't really been a convention or a day dedicated to Sid and Marty Krofft shows.
That surprises me.
So people are flying from Florida, Tennessee, and they're calling us at the Orinda Theater saying, "Where can we stay? The hotel in town?" There is no hotel.
There's no hotel in Orinda.
Go to Walnut Creek.
There's plenty of Berkeley or Walnut Creek.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you're 6-7 miles away.
There's really no hotel in Orinda.
No hotel in Orinda.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun event. I think I'm going to pop in.
Yeah.
Just to say hello to my friends. I won't pollute your programming with my face, but
with the Sid and Marty Krofft, there's a lot of pollution. You can you're more than welcome.
Well, what do you say we finish up this film and we come back? We've got a couple of other events we need to talk about, right?
Coming up.
Yeah. All right, you guys stick around. End of Hands of a Stranger, 1962 coming up. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Derek about some other fun events happening at the Orinda Theater. Don't go away.
Hey, don't you want to marry me?
Yeah.
Yeah. When?
A year or so, maybe. I can't ask you to live on what I'm making now. I can't even live on it.
I wouldn't mind working. I've done it before.
We might have to if we get married in a year or so.
Then why not now?
It's just too rough.
You're too intent on your work.
I admit it. It's the future, Sue, and I've got a chance to be a part of something wonderful. I guess I'm selfish, because I want it to be the right kind of future. For my work, and for us. Don't you understand?
You know I do. It's just that I wish there could be more time for us. I'm not going to stop loving you, Ken. It's just that the nights get lonely out.
It can't be. Gil? Gil, can it?
It must be a record.
He never bought any of his own records. He was always afraid of becoming a mechanical copy of himself. I know his style so well.
I don't know. Maybe possible. He's really been practicing and exercising the way you said.
It's one of his more simple pieces. Gil, it must be. Oh, Vernon, was that you playing?
Oh, I'm sorry you heard. I wanted it to be when I was a little better.
Oh, it sounded wonderful.
It's the only one I've worked on, and it's taken me all these weeks. What does the man who made it all possible have to say?
I'm surprised, but
Well, you told me yourself there was no reason why it shouldn't happen. With exercise, practice.
Yes, I know. But I didn't expect this much dexterity this soon.
Not even when the incentive, the desire to create beauty is strong enough? You did your work well, Doctor. Now I'm doing mine.
If it's true, there's no one outside you two who could be happier than I am.
Then smile, Doctor. Get rid of that troubled, questioning look. Help us rejoice in the success of our mutual triumph. I know what I have to do now.
Please play for us.
It's been very hard to get this far, and I think even the doctor will tell you that it's natural to expect fatigue to set in easily.
Make it soon.
It will be.
Understand one thing. I want to believe.
Then do it, Doctor. Do it because you, too, have the incentive.
Gil.
Well, I'm sorry. I know he was a close associate of yours. Did you know the girl, too? Tragedies of this kind are always senseless, but I'm afraid I have to press you about the significance behind it.
How can there be any significance to waste?
Some time ago, I read a routine report about a death that occurred in the suburbs. A man came home and found his son dead, apparently as the result of a burglar who was discovered and panicked. The unusual thing was that most of the boy's fingers were broken. Possibly it was the result of a fight, except that the fingers were all squeezed together as if they'd been crushed. The man was an ex-cab driver named Wilder. Can you raise the sheet farther this time and look at your friend's hands? Done with a bookend. If you're thinking it might have been a burglar, forget it. It was calculated. The bookend was placed in the girl's hand to make it look as if she defended herself against a sex attack.
Then you have your answer.
That's rather difficult to believe since the girl was choked to death. A series of tragedies with one thing in common, the human hand. The same thing that brought us together, Doctor.
It's ridiculous to assume that...
Is it? Perhaps, if anybody else but your friend had been involved. This is the kind of coincidence that forces me to become less patient. I think I know now what's happened. If I'm correct, it's an amazing piece of surgery, Doctor. Under the circumstances, I must insist you meet me at my office within a half hour. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is pure coincidence. Otherwise, it means you failed to control an experiment that could have been of great value. Regardless, both of our objectives are the same.
I think you know why I wanted you to be the first to hear me play.
Brennan, I've never been so happy.
You won't mind if it's the same piece?
I wouldn't care if it was the scale of C in one octave, just to know you can play again.
Even though I can play, I'm still nervous about these hands. It takes all my concentration. Would you mind sitting in the other room just this once?
I'd listen to you from the other end of the world if it would help make you great again.
Dina, I want you to remember just one thing. Tonight I'll play my greatest concert. I need you to help make it complete.
I'll remember.
Destroy the very thing I created?
Help him. Any jury will call it insanity. With proper treatment, he can be brought back.
And Ken? And I?
Gil, I was almost as close to Ken as you were. But even his sacrifice can't stop our work. It mustn't.
How stupid I was. What he said about incentive. Oh, yes, he had one, all right. Vengeance on everyone he thought destroyed his ability to create music. The driver, Ken.
I think we can take care of ourselves.
Dina, she's with him.
He won't hurt her. She's on his side. We're the enemies.
Well, the maniac as shrewd as he's become, I won't take that chance.
I'm coming too.
No, you're involved enough. Go home to your security. Try to figure out why it's so hard to find for men like me. And don't make the same mistakes.
This brief moment of tranquility has been brought to you by Nightscape. Relax and sleep better every single night with this and other videos from our free YouTube channel. Learn more by visiting nightscape.co today.
Are you sure about this?
It must be. He made a special point about it. Tonight, I'll play my greatest concert.
Dina,
Oh, I don't blame you, Gil. How can you blame anybody for this? I just feel numb for all the loneliness and misery he must be feeling inside him.
Thank you for remembering what I said, Dina. I was sure I could depend on the audience. Very important part of a concert. Yes, I'm going to play for you, Doctor. I'm used to a great deal of applause after my concerts. And what could be more desirable than applause from the man who made it all possible? There were others, almost as much a part of it as you, who should be here. But I don't think we'd find their applause very enthusiastic now. I did manage to convince one of them, though. We had a long chat on the way down here. Turns out he was very partial to music and my future ability. The only trouble was he didn't mean it. He's only trying to trick me.
Why, Vernon? It was only a matter of time before you would have played again.
Time. Time to cut off these hands and give me others, and others if those don't work. Yes, the doctor has all the time he needs in his laboratory. He can do anything, except give me back my life.
He tried to save that life.
He failed.
How do you know yet?
Shall I show you?
It's too soon.
I said I was going to play for you. I am, now. But I want you beside me, Dina, because you were always there in the past. You can't go out there.
He still needs me.
It's a trick.
I might be able to humor him. Still save him. I've got to.
It's too much of a chance. You can't do it.
Then take a gun and go out there and shoot him now.
Listen. Behold the wonders of medical science and your kind doctor. Your triumph, doctor. And now mine. Let her go. Go on back. We'll be all right. The talented Dr. Harding, still in charge. You're right about one thing. I'm not responsible for the loss of your hands. But I am for this. Like your friend, you imagine yourself a clever psychologist. It won't work, Doctor. You're interested in nothing but vengeance. Beauty is no longer important to you. On the contrary, justice is a form of moral beauty. Or is that too unscientific? I did everything I could surgically, and your body's accepted it. Beyond that, I know I failed you. Your mind couldn't accept it. That's very beautiful. What a shame it's only meant to throw me off guard. What do you want? I want you to take another look at your work. Just for this moment, I want to share this triumph with you. Have you found out whose hands they are? Not yet. Does it make any difference? I think you know we'll have to talk some more.
Then maybe you'll be able to tell me if we have the right to push ahead so fast. Even when we believe.
Men like you who aren't afraid to grow, they'll always be the right.
You know, she has the most feminine elbows for such a little monster. Yeah, most women I know have rather manly elbows, and she's got these feminine little elbows that wreak all kinds of havoc around town. Welcome back to the show. The movie, it's over. In case you're wondering, the movie ended. That's what the end thing said. But he
It's a little
dies.
violent, yeah.
No, what do you expect? He's got the hands of a murderer. They had to shoot him. You know, I was hoping that maybe there'd be like some kind of hand accident, and then he would be like forever freed of the murderous hands, but that didn't happen. So, oh well, we'll show this movie again in 2 years, but we're not going to show it with Derek because he's going to insist that we show a better movie next time it comes on, I think.
One of my other movies.
You need to make the sequel, but we won't talk about that. Anyways, you've got another event coming up.
Yeah, and in Orinda on April 24th.
April 24th. That's soon.
It is Creature Feature Day.
Creature Feature Day. You know, every day for us is Creature Feature Day, so
I
you're
know.
not impressing me yet.
Yeah, but it's from noon to 9 o'clock at night.
Noon to 9
all
p.m.
day long. They have
Right.
a brand new documentary by Tom Warsh,
Right.
which is up
Our director, Tom Warsh.
Up Late with Bob Wilkins.
Up Late with Bob Wilkins. So, you know, I know all about this project.
I know. I saw you in it.
Well, I have not seen that part yet, but he's been talking about this thing, and no, it's a lot of footage nobody's ever seen before.
That's
It's a lot
incredible.
of footage that people have seen before, but it's much improved, and it's just this wonderful documentary on Bob Wilkins. And the original Creature Features, in case you don't know who Bob is, yeah, we've got people in bloody Poland watching us now. They don't know who Bob Wilkins is. So Bob Wilkins did the show in first 1971. He started the show.
Right.
And
And
so this
that's
is going to
the
be
thing.
Creature Feature Day at your theater.
Yes, and that's what we like about doing things, events at Orinda Theater, like we talked about, you know, TV PopCon. It's like a whole day celebration, and that's what I love is when people come because they want to be there,
Right.
And they all are celebrating something,
Right.
and that's what Creature Feature Day is going to do.
And there's going to be popcorn.
Oh, there'll be popcorn.
There'll be popcorn. And there's all kinds of people that are going to show up. We might show up, right? No, we're going to show up. Well, we'll be there.
We should.
But no. We're going to have other horror hosts. Who else? Mr. Lobo's going to be there. He's flying in. Where's
John
he flying
Stanley.
in from? John Stanley. He was the second.
Lord Bloodraw.
Lord Bloodraw. Who else? Miss Misery is going to be there.
Wow.
Yeah. John Provost. Timmy from Lassie will be there. All the Bay Area old school TV icons will be there. Steve Setro, the singer, the bloke who sings our song, Steve Setro Souza from Exodus will be there. Is he going to actually have a table?
He may. Everyone will.
Everyone's going to have a table. We're not going to do a table. Well, no, we're not going to do a table.
It's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a
So
fun
much
day.
fun. And the premiere of the documentary. I mean, that's going to be fantastic.
Right. And then maybe another movie or something shown as
Yeah.
well. So it's going to be fun. So we get more information on that by going
just
to
go to orindamovies.com.
orindamovies.com, and you can learn more, and you can not buy a VIP ticket because they've been sold. No, that's the other thing.
the other event.
All right. Is there VIP tickets for this?
I'm not sure yet.
I wonder if I could get one. Do I need one?
I'm not sure yet.
She's a VIP. I'm going to be the one opening the door for her. Anyways, that's absolutely wonderful. And then you've got this event coming up, the Creature Features event, and then you've got the other St. Marty Croft one coming up in May.
And then once a month in Orinda, we actually do a Chilladilla Theater, which is hosted by Lord Blood-Raw, who we mentioned before. Yeah, once a month, the second Saturday of each
It's
Saturday.
like a horror host show live instead of on television.
Showing movies, so it's a lot of
fun.
Yeah.
How fun. All at the Orinda Theater. Yeah,
who would have known?
It's a great place. I wish I lived closer to Orinda. I would be there all the time. All right, well, I think that's it, right? Have we covered everything? Oh, this is our last episode on KOFY. If you're watching on Coffee, it's going to be called Grit TV, and then it's all going to be Western stuff, so we don't quite fit in anymore.
Well, that's disappointing.
No, it's fine. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Vimeo. You can find us on Apple TV, on Roku. Oh, what's the other one? What's the Amazon thing called? The Thunder Stick or the Fire Stick? Fire Stick. Amazon Fire Stick. You can find us on that. And then I think you could find us in a small canister behind a certain Walmart. But look on the other places first, and you can find out where by going to creaturefeatures.tv/watch. And we're on like 35 other stations. So
wow.
That's all right. But,
that's incredible.
Bye-bye, coffee friends. As far as you go, Mr. Sir, thank you so much for coming up and showing us all this stuff. And next time you're in town, make sure you stop by here. But next time we are in Orinda, we're going to stop by and see you.
Better be.
First.
Better be.
All right. Rest of you, thank you for watching the show. We hope you had a wonderful time. Next week, what do we got next week? I don't know what in bloody God's name we've got next week, but it's going to be fun. So you check in with us, and don't forget, we love you. See you next time. So, Derek, these puppets you had have me intrigued. This bloke in Canada, do you think he could possibly make one of me?
Possibly, but he'd never get that hair right.